Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. A lot of the country is going to be dealing with some pretty harsh winter weather, it looks like, here in about a week. There's a polar vortex predicted to come down through the Midwest and even into parts of the upper South. And depending on which weather model you look at right now, it looks like it could be pretty bad. So I wanted to let everyone know. I know that most of you probably paying attention, but just as a reminder, for most of the country, I understand you folks up there in the Great White North are different, but for the most of the rest of the country, the winter's been fairly mild so far. And a lot of times, the first time the really cold stuff hits, it kind of throws you off. So from a preparedness perspective, you need to be ready for this. They're talking about anywhere from 20 degrees below normal all the way to 20 degrees below zero, depending on which weather model you're looking at, for places in, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, all those areas. And then as the further north you go, the worse it can get. So I wanted to give you just a quick reminder to be ready for that. You got about a week, it looks like, before it really starts hitting, and need to make sure that you're ready for it. Vehicles are functioning, battery, enough coolant in it to keep it from freezing. Wood, whatever you use to heat your home, that you're ready to go. And then, of course, things like you should always keep a bag of extra socks, blankets, water, things like that in case you break down, especially in the cold. It could be a bad deal. So be paying attention to that, folks. Don't let that one, don't focus so much on all the big dramatic stuff in the news that you forget and, kind of get blindsided by the real stuff that's actually happening. Speaking of the stuff that's going on, strangely enough, and this one, it could just be a coincidence, but in the last few days, there's been several planes that's crashed. Obviously, the one that's been in the news there in the Azerbaijan flight that went down, that now they're saying it was a Russian anti-aircraft missile that hit it. That seems to be the consensus. And then since then, there's been like four more. One of the more famous ones, there's video of it going around in South Korea. Unfortunately, it looks like only two survivors of that one. There was one in Norway, one in Canada, one in the UAE. It's odd. Italy was saying that their airports were experiencing a cyber attack. There's been flights shut down all over the world for various reasons. So, is it just stuff that's just happening, or is there some kind of coordinated effort to all this? It's hard to say, but definitely strange enough that I think it's worthy of talking about. The other thing that's keeps going on, and I don't know, I probably shouldn't even talk about this stuff anymore. It just upsets people so much, and you know me, I am so concerned with not offending other people and hurting other people's feelings that I probably shouldn't just say this. But Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, they've all come out openly supporting this H-1B visa thing. And what they're saying, it's not so much that they've kind of turned around and supported it. It's kind of the way that they're going about it. Now, number one, this is a specialized visa that, employers can, recruit people from other countries and get them to come here and work for them. Several years ago, Donald Trump stated that he did not support this, that even though he's used it in his companies, he thinks it's the wrong deal for America and that we should stop doing it. But now all of a sudden he's kind of turned around and said, no, we need this. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and for the last several days have been, I don't know, kind of changing their tune about things, at least in the respect of upsetting the conservative right. They believe that basically we should kick out all the Mexicans and import a bunch of people from places like India and basically replace them. So it's not so the whole the whole talk leading up to the election during the campaign of, we're going to shut the border down, we're going to, kick out deport all these illegals. It's not that we're removing all of these illegals and there won't, that amount of population would be reduced in the United States. It's that we're replacing them with people that, yes, are legal, but still from, other countries. Trump even stated that during the campaign. I talked about that weeks back, that he had stated that, yes, we're going to close the border and kick out the illegals, but we're going to, bring in lots and lots of people. And so that seems to be the big conversation right now. And there's a lot of heated debates and conversation going on about this. And it's interesting to watch how some, not all, but some within the MAGA, camp is starting to, kind of toe the line, regurgitate the talking points. There's even Democrats, far left liberals that's come out supporting this, that we should bring in these people from other countries to do work, because their argument is that Americans are too lazy. It's mediocre labor. And to a certain extent, I can see that. I see that there's a real problem here in the United States. That's one of the things that I have said for a while, even recently, with this idea of putting tariffs on things and bringing manufacturing back home. Who's going to do that manufacturing? Most of the people that have the skills and the drive to do that work, they're at or nearing retirement age. Not any big knock to the younger people, but there's not a lot of evidence that shows that, a lot of these younger, anyone under 30 years old, I guess you could say, is really wanting to go into some type of manual labor, working in factories, or developing the skills needed to build these things, to build stuff. It's just not there. I have personally talked to random, young people, and I've seen it many times online, where they just, it's too hard. They expect me to work 8 hours a day. I mean, I have to be there at 9 o'clock and I can't get off until like 5 o'clock. That's ridiculous. And I'm thinking, my goodness, that'd be sweet hours, because I don't think I've ever in my adult career ever worked less than probably 60 hours a week. Like 40 hours a week would be considered a vacation, would be easy. Even now, when you include all the volunteer hours that I put in every week, it's way, way, way more. So there's a problem there. And there's a problem that I have talked about for a long time, that I think America is beyond fixing. I know it makes me sound like a pessimist, but you've got the need, if America is supposed to get back on her feet again, right? If America is supposed to be independent, if America is supposed to be this manufacturing giant like America once was, then you need workers. You need people to actually do that kind of stuff. And America's become a service industry. Everything is, most of the bulk of employment in the United States is in the service industry. Working at restaurants, bringing you your groceries to your house, just ridiculous stuff. And the amount of people that actually work in manufacturing and skills labor is actually quite small. And I know that a lot of you are going to say, oh, well, I do, or my son does, or what. Yes, but I'm saying as a whole, as a nation as a whole, those numbers just aren't there. And there's no evidence to show that there's the people to actually fill those roles. So if we want to be independent, if we want to be a strong nation again, and not have all this illegal immigration, then we have to bring in people. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's from third world countries. I understand he's saying the best of those countries, but still, they're still coming from third world countries, bringing beliefs and culture into this country that's foreign to us. And this is what I've been telling you. Number one, the incoming leadership is not, they're not the saints that a lot of people think that they are. And number two, this idea that this nation is going to be fixed and returned back to what it once was is just, it's a pipe dream, folks. Either way you look at it, what's the saying? The goose is cooked. And we have to be ready for that. It's not just a thing of having preparation set aside so that when things fall apart, the getting ready is also, teaching your children, because they're not going to get that, not just in school, but in society, because as society changes, traditions are changing and culture is changing. Religion is changing, because everything's becoming watered down, because it's becoming a bigger and bigger tossed salad of ideas. And if you want your children, your grandchildren to grow up and understand what America once really was, and what your belief systems are, and what your morality standards are, you're going to have to teach it to your children yourself, which is what you should be. This is also why I've promoted community, because I suspect as this happens, you're going to see almost like little enclaves of traditional America, traditional Bible believing America, in small communities, because things are changing and they're going to continue to change. If you think it's just going to revert back to what it once was, it's not. And there's just going to be this shifting of removing illegals that have Hispanic backgrounds. Maybe they're here illegally, maybe they're working, maybe they're criminal. But honestly, when you get down to it, they probably have a more similar culture, and that's I know that's a stretch to America than maybe over in India and other places in Asia, because at least a lot of the people coming up, the traditional family type of ideas coming across the border illegally, most of them come from at least some kind of a Christian Catholic background, whereas, coming from India, you're talking a completely different belief system that isn't even comparable to what is normal here in the United States. So there's just a lot of things going on, and a lot of people are upset. And I think that it's just more evidence that you can't just say, okay, everything's going to be great now. Come January 20th, the country's going to turn around and it's going to be this wonderful, just peaceful, productive, perfect place again. There's still a lot of problems, and maybe some problems will be getting fixed, but I think a lot of new problems are going to rise up. And in the end, this push for global world order, for this great reset, is going to continue to happen, whether you like it or not. And we need to keep getting ourselves ready. Don't slack off. Don't think that everything's going to be fine now. Things aren't just going to turn around. Things aren't just, becoming perfectly better. We're still going down that road. It may be a different path. It may look a little different, but we're still going to go there. And you still need to be getting yourselves in order, folks. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because the world is changing at probably even more of a rapid pace than it has. It's just different. Don't be sitting by and trusting the plan that everything's going to be better. Take responsibility for yourself. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.